What's up, otakus? It's your tour guide here. Yeah, it's already gonna be July soon, and what I've been doing, this is like the first time really um, that I'm doing it. As you know, um, I've been collecting since I was, a young lad, but I got out of the hobby a little after college. Um, kind of just was enjoying it up through college. And then once I entered the real world and started working, I just didn't have time for comics, just moved on. And then, of course, I came back to the hobby just recently, um, around late last year. And now I'm just kind of like, with this channel and all the books I've picked up in the last year, it's been quite quite a fun time. It's been a good distraction from everything. But yeah, what I did toward the earlier part of the year is I did a sort of a deep dive into the data of my collection, and I shared some data points and kind of um, like the top 10 writers in my collection, the top 10 cover artists in my collection. Um, just like kind of looked at, in terms of my collection, the distribution between like bronze, silver, bronze, modern, copper, or copper modern. It was just like a fun video. And I didn't have much data to work with when I created that first video. But now that we're in the midpoint of 2022, I thought we'd review that data, see how my collection's grown, and kind of share some of the data insights as well from current PC. And so, yeah, we'll get right to that. Also, I'm just going to give you some updates on the recent Cgc submission as well. So let's get to that. I'm going to just share my screen here. There we go. All right, so you should be seeing my screen now. And I guess I'll start with the Cgc update here. As you can see, I recently sent in 9 books. And when you send in 9 books, and these are like the most like prized books in my collection in terms of both value and their importance to me. And so it was a bit nerve-wracking to send in 9 of the best books in my collection. And of course, I was tracking it through the postal service, and it got there okay. CGC received it on the 24th, which is a Friday. And they got 9 books, exactly how they were laid out in the submission. And I already have also 6 books waiting now. What you'll notice on this graphic is I'm showing 3 books that are shipped, right? What you don't see is after 8 months, CGC, so basically you can see progress on an order or submission, but after 8 months, those line items disappear. And I'm sure for those of you who've waited for books, this really quirky feature. I don't understand why CGC does this. So for me to see the current 3 books that have been there at CCS waiting to be pressed for over 8 months, if I wanted to see that, I'd have to just specifically type in the order number or the submission number, and I'd get a status update. And right now, all it shows is like received, waiting to be pressed at CCS. That's all it shows. So just kind of, I guess, ignore the 3 copies that are shipped. Just know that 3 copies are currently waiting to be pressed, along with the 3 signature books waiting to be pressed. and all the 9 books that I just sent, those are also at CCS waiting to be pressed. So all in all, I've got 15 books, 6 of which have been there since the end of last year, and 9 of which were just submitted. So just giving you a quick progress report on that. All right, let's get to the data now. I'm just gonna, I guess, share it like this. So yeah, we'll get right into it. In terms of the PC, I think when I made this video last time, we were at something like 250 some issues in the collection. And this was, again, I want to say it was early, like the very early part of the year, or maybe late last year. Well, it's that the collection's grown by over 200 issues, which is, I guess, pretty good. I paid total, based off just my memories and stuff of the collection. I calculated what I paid. Spent about $2,520 on my collection, and its estimated value is $11,263. Now, this estimated value part, I guess you can say it's a little bit elevated because I strictly went book for a lot of the books without considering grade. So you might see like a VF X-Men. I valued it at $5, just to kind of just do the simple math of it. So a Copper Age X-Men book, like a common, something that's not necessarily key, I assigned it a value of $5. And usually I pick those up for $2 or $3, but that's kind of where I am with estimated value. Also, for a book like, for example, this slabbed book that I got, 9.6, New Mutants 98, slabbed at a 9.6. Its fair market value for the slab book is something like, what was it? I think it was like $750 or something like that. And then I kind of put just an additional premium on each value. So for example, if something's booking at 25, but it's a hot book and I really like it, I'll put a $30, I'll value it at $30. And some of the Neil Adams books, I just picked up, they book at their grade, they're booking at $5. I'll value those at $20. So these values are a little bit elevated on my part. I put the value what I think they're worth. I take the book value, but I also add a little bit of a premium if they're hot books. If they're books I don't care for, I put them as strictly book value. But if they're something like PC worthy or something I really collect, I kind of put a little bit more value in it. So this estimated value is a little bit inflated from just I guess a biased type of inflation on my part. So when you calculate this out, it ends up being about $6 per book that I spent. And the value gain per book is about $20. So if I were to do consider the PC as just one massive comic book haul, okay, I'm getting pretty good, because if you look at my haul videos, my most recent, where I got a lot of value out of that haul, I got $20 of value in that haul, right? I'm right about there for the PC as well. So if I use the same standards on my comic book hauls in terms of what I'm buying them for and what their values are. Again, I'm getting pretty good value gain per book. So again, I'm spending $6 on a book that's worth maybe $26. Okay. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, you can let me know in the messages. Okay, so again, 465 issues. This is just by publisher and age. As you can see, Marvel and DC dominate. And there's very good reasons for that. Marvel, you'll see a spike in copper. In DC, you'll see a spike in modern. And that's because basically Jim Lee was at Marvel in the Copper Age, then moved to DC in the Modern Age. And he dabbled at Wildstorm for a little bit, and so you see some peaks in Wildstorm and Image as well. But yeah, this is skewed toward Jim Lee, definitely. And let's see here, top 10 titles. This hadn't, oops, let's go back. This hasn't changed all that much. X-Men is still by and large the most collected. Let me just see here. So you don't see the graphic very well, but it's 39 issues in the Copper Age. And again, that's mainly due to just the overwhelming emphasis on that X-Men Jim Lee X-Men run. Got 39 issues there, multiples. And then it skews towards Superman in the Modern Age, again, because of Jim Lee. And it also skews toward Batman as well. You see it. I don't know why it's split like that, Batman, but I've got about 30 issues of modern Batman as well. And most of that's attributed to Jim Lee as well as that Copper X-Men run, the Jim Lee X-Men run. So again, these top 10 titles, you can see the top 4, Uncanny X-Men, Superman, Batman, X-Men, mainly because of Jim Lee and all this other sort of tertiary stuff you'll see. Are also things I collect. I'm surprised Daredevil isn't on my top 10 titles, but anyway, you'll see I added a lot of New Teen Titans here. That wasn't as pronounced as it was in the last data review. Justice League also is pretty predominant. And then you just have these random Spider-Man and Fantastic Fours from both. Some of it's from, I guess, yeah, just random stuff, I guess. I've been collecting Spider-Man. My Spider-Man collection is not all that big. Got exactly 13 issues of Amazing Spider-Man, which is not big by any means, but it's definitely, in terms of like what I collected as a kid, it was definitely more pronounced. All right. In terms of writers, again, it's going to skew whoever was working with Jim Lee. So you've got Chris Claremont, Azzarello, Scott Snyder, Jeff Loeb. These are all titles. But then you've also got, like Marv Wolfman, John Byrne, Larry Hama, Frank Miller, even Todd. I think because of the some of the Spawn stuff and Spider-Man stuff, he's also on there. I don't know what this blank is. I just imagine there's a bunch of writers I left blank, but in the data, so just ignore that. I'll go back and fill those data, but they're not important writers, obviously, for whatever reasons, but I'll go back and fill them in. Okay, so this is the big one, I guess, the cover artist. And as you can see, I have 100, whoops, I have 139 issues by Jim Lee. Now, a lot of those are doubles. So if you don't count the doubles, I think my current Jim Lee count is somewhere in like the like 115 or somewhere around there. But I have a lot of doubles, so that's why it's so elevated. I guess next would be like John Byrne would be next, 37 cover artist, and then 15. Who's 15? Looks like 15 would be Todd McFarlane. Yeah, I guess it is Todd. Oh, I didn't realize I had so many Todd McFarlane covers. And then next would be 10 Joe Madureira, I guess. Or maybe, yeah, Joe Madureira looks to be. Or is that Rob Liefeld? Oh, it's Rob Liefeld, then Joe Madureira, and then like Greg Capullo. George Perez has quite a few, like 20. So that's George Perez. So I guess if you're looking at my top 5, it'd be Jim Lee, John Byrne, George Perez, Todd McFarlane. Maybe that 10 is Peach Momoko. I don't know. Anyway, these are my top 10 artists in the collection. Okay, so this is sort of a more deep dive on the Jim Lee books that I have. As you can see, it's broken down by title. These are all the titles. So for example, like his first art for Marvel, here is the official universe of the Marvel Handbook. I've got 1 issue of that. And then you got like Justice League. I got 12 issues of Justice League, 16 issues of Batman, 2 issues of another kind of Batman, I guess. I'm sure those are the same. They're just split up for some reason. Maybe there was a space or something in there. And then you got 34 issues of Uncanny X-Men, which is like far and away the most. And then followed by like X-Men here. So total Jim Lee X-Men stuff is like about 50 books, it looks like. Close to, no, sorry. Yeah, 50 books. 50 books, close to 50 books. So yeah, that's pretty much the data. I'm I don't expect a lot of views on this one because it's absolutely as boring. It's so boring, right? It's like, who gives it? It's just for my self-edification, that I keep these data points and see how the collection grows. Now, I would encourage you to do the same. Maybe many of you are. I'm sure many of you at least keep a like a spreadsheet of your collection that comes in, that goes out, prices, great, like just great estimates. And it's important to have that for the collection, because as your collection grows, you don't want to dig through everything. You just kind of look through and see what you have just on an Excel, spreadsheet. And so I find it very helpful. So, it's fun to kind of like every 6 months or so, or when the collections grow, maybe even once a year. I'll probably do these once a year rather than every 6 months. I'm kind of in a lull in terms of buying. I'm trying to save up some money and do 25-cent comic book hunt. Go to the 25-cent bins and just dig out. We could come back with 100 books. Let's see what we just dig and see what we find. Try to pick out maybe 1 or 2 really key, valuable books, because I know Jeff doesn't keep up with the prices. So we're just hoping he kind of slips on some of those boxes. Then but the thing is, that box is hit up constantly by collectors in the know. Like J. Rule was just there, and I think he picked up all the DC variants. And I know there's another collector there, this kid that just lives there on the weekends. He comes there and just spends whatever, I guess, allowance or money he makes on the side. And he picks up a lot of like key stuff. Like he knows his stuff. So he's like looking for like all those obscure like video game and so I mean, it's not like I'm gonna go in there and see, like I miss a lot of stuff, to be honest. If you put like a really like $300 key that's really obscure in front of me, I wouldn't know it from anything else. So that's fine. Like those guys can go and dig. Jeff has plenty of inventory. He just goes upstairs whenever somebody clears out those 25-cent bins. He goes upstairs when he has time. He brings down another long box and just fills the holes. So I just want to get there on one of those occasions where he's filled everything, no one's been looking, and spend the whole day there, because it's literally like his entire store practically filled with long boxes of 25-cent comics. So you can literally spend like days in there just digging, like slowly digging through if you know what you're looking for. And again, I'm trying to like just look at all the, I'm using Key Collector to see what keys are there, like obscure keys from like, the 90s and the 80s that might be in those long boxes. I know Jeff rarely puts in like Bronze Age stuff. From time to time you'll find it. But it's mostly like modern 90s stuff. So if I can kind of have some of the, I guess the big ones like the key issues that you could find in a dollar bin, have that just in the back of my head while I'm digging. But we're not looking to spend a lot there. Again, I'm taking about $25 with me to the LCS, to potentially bring back $100. I'm not going to spend it all though, but just dig, spend a whole day kind of digging and looking for things that I want to add to the PC that I think are worth 25 cents or more. You can find some Jim Lee, that's a win. You can find some like just George Perez, Neil Adams, or anything 90s by those artists, anything in the 90s by those artists. If we can find some like cool, double cover type stuff, like I'm just gonna kind of dig slowly. And just like higher grade modern DC books would even be good for 25 cents. Just gonna try to pick up as much as I can while being selective. I don't want to just try to spend everything. I just want to look at whatever we find that I think, yeah, this should be worth more than 25 cents, or this is, a $5 book in my opinion. Those kinds of finds we're gonna add, tally that up, and I'll go with that. So it could be a lot of books, could be 100 books, could be just like 10 books, but we'll go with that. And then with whatever I have left from that hunt, I'm gonna also go to spend the rest of it on at Mill Geek. Hopefully pick up some variant covers like Peach Momoko or Jim Lee variant covers, modern stuff. Spend a little bit more there, and that's about it. So that's what's coming up. I hope you like this data dive into the PC. Again, it's growing. It's kind of staying where it usually is. It's skewing generally because that's what I collect, and I hope you kind of just saw. I think what you'll see next, because I'm going to continue to pick up Jim Lee X-Men books, Jim Lee Batman books, whatever Jim Lee. There are some holes, just a few holes, not like big key holes, but those major ones, Batman, X-Men, Superman, Justice League, we're missing a few. Punisher, we're missing a lot. So you could see Punisher spike up. I've only got a few Punisher. We try to pick up some Conan, Jim Lee Conan. I just never see it in the shops, to be honest. seems like it's pretty rare, or at least maybe it's not, because it was toward the end of I think toward end of one of the Conan runs, so it might be just like one of those low print things that you just are hard to find. But for whatever reason, we don't see it at LCS. But when we do run across it, we will try to pick it up, because it's one of those things like you've just been wanting it, but been wanting to pick it up in a while, but it's just been out of, you just haven't seen it. So when you run across it, you're probably going to spend whatever they're asking to add it to the PC. I was looking to spend like under $5 for that, but if I found that and they were asking 10 or something, I'd probably pick it up. But yeah, all right, thanks for watching, and yeah, let me know your thoughts on these kinds of data dive videos, and we'll probably do another one of these at the end of the year, and I'll just try to keep them an annual type thing when I go over like the top 20 books I picked up that year, pickups of the year. At the end of the year, I'll also add the data in the video so you can enjoy not only what I picked up, but also see how the PCs grow. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.